Can you name the richest man in history? Come on, any ideas? Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, John D. Rockefeller? Well, technically, all of them are. But if I told you that someone from history was much more valuable than these present-day billionaires, would you believe me? Of course you would. You ain't got a choice. Having said that, let's set aside John D. Rockefeller, Elon Musk, or Jeff Bezos for a bit, shall we? As the king has arrived. Yep, the 14th century Malian emperor, Mansa Musa, was undoubtedly the wealthiest person ever. Wait, are you questioning the king's wealth? As many professionals and economists consider it to be inconceivable, incalculable, and so vast that it's impossible to attain ever again. Impressed? Well, doubt no more, as we'll be taking you in for a swift historical ride in discovering the story behind how Mansa Musa accumulated his fortune as well as what he did with it. Great! Siri, take us back to the 14th century. But before anything else, don't miss out on any video updates. Make sure to subscribe. Who is Mansa Musa? In 1312, Musa Kita became king of the Mali Empire in West Africa, known as Mansa Musa. Mali had already been prosperous by that time. It grew even wealthier under Musa's rule. Musa expanded his empire throughout several territories, utilizing the area's natural resources like gold and salt. Mansa Musa, the richest man in history. Mansa Musa is believed to have a net worth of $400 billion. Mansa Musa's rise to power in the Mali Empire was somewhat mysterious. It all began when Abubakar II temporarily deputized Musa as emperor. Throughout the history of this empire, on-call emperors were prevalent. The position somewhat resembled that of a vice president today, who is expected to take over if something were to happen to the primary emperor. Due to a twist of fate, Musa was up to step in when Abubakar II had set out one day to explore the ocean's far side, but never came back. As a result, Musa became Mansa Musa. Mansa means king, and inherited the throne in 1312. Musa hadn't emerged from obscurity to become a leader. Sundiata Keita, who founded the Mali Empire, was his great-uncle. You can achieve wealth in many ways, as you'll hear in many late-night infomercials. However, Musa made his fortune primarily by trading gold and salt, which were abundant in West Africa at the time. Much of his wealth was strengthened by critical cultural centers, particularly Timbuktu. Though Musa was a massive success outside of his region, he was relatively unknown. Not until he traveled outside of Africa. Musa was a devout Muslim who decided he would make the Hajj, also known as a pilgrimage to Mecca, in 1324. This led to his name being known far and wide. The King's Journey. To this day, pilgrimages to Mecca remain an integral part of Islam, and Musa did not take the journey lightly. Musa traveled 4,000 miles from his empire to reach Mecca. Being a powerful and wealthy emperor, he couldn't go alone. Musa embarked on his pilgrimage accompanied by 60,000 people, including servants, soldiers, and supporters. Musa's servants were not dressed in rags, unlike what you might expect. They were dressed in Persian silks and carried gold staffs. Musa's convoy of people, horses, and camels quickly caught the world's attention. Musa's caravan was not only impossible to miss, but he also bought the most goods he could find and gave gold to random peasants. Musa left a trail of gold all over Cairo, Medina, and the Mecca as he passed through. Musa sometimes left a large wake, however. Gold was given away so freely in Cairo that the economy for a while got thrown off. It was given away so freely that its value declined. As a result of Mansa Musa borrowing from leaders in Cairo, despite the high interest rate, the disruption gradually increased. In the Mediterranean region, the king controlled the price of gold almost single-handedly by that point. However, Cairo's economy took over a decade to fully recover from Mansa Musa's golden touch. Musa's pilgrimage to Mecca would undoubtedly cement his legacy. In his view, it was simply a way to expand his kingdom and honor his faith. Gal became part of his lands during that historic journey. Musa's empire would eventually include present-day Senegal, Gambia, Guinea, Nigeria, Chad, Mauritania, and Mali. The lasting contributions of Mansa Musa's wealth. The Jingueber Mosque, which is still standing today, was built by Mansa Musa using some of his fortunes. Besides giving away gold to random people on the street and buying souvenirs with all that money, what did Mansa Musa do with all that money? We knew you'd ask for it, so here's the answer. It was predominantly used to build mosques. Legend has it, he built a mosque every Friday, the best known of which is the Jingueber Mosque. In addition, several universities were built throughout the kingdom under his command. Some 700 years after their construction, many of these historic buildings, the schools and the mosques, are still standing. When Mansa Musa lived, he invested heavily in Islamic education in Mali, attracting scores of Muslim scholars, poets, and artisans to his empire. They gathered in Timbuktu, which quickly established itself as an essential city in the Islamic world. Moreover, Musa made himself and his empire known around the world. On his pilgrimage to Mecca, his caravan gained so much attention that Europeans thousands of miles away learned about it. Europeans were fascinated by his depiction of a wealthy king. During the bubonic plague, civil wars, and economic hardships that plagued many European countries, Timbuktu's prosperity and wealth in gold wove an enchanting tapestry in European imaginations. Musa ruled the Mali Empire for approximately 20 years. His trade ports expanded significantly during this period and became one of the most influential rulers of his time and perhaps of all time. One of his sons inherited the throne in 1337 after his death. Taking a closer look at the wealthiest person in history. As of May 2021, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos is the richest man on earth. If you compare Mansa Musa's generosity to some contemporary billionaires like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, or John D. Rockefeller, you might wonder how he compares. Inflation adjusted, Mansa Musa's net worth is estimated to have been around $400 billion. The only American billionaire from modern history to come close to that amount is John D. Rockefeller, who economists estimate has a net worth of around $336 billion. The riches of today's billionaires don't even come close to those of Musa. Bill Gates was far below Musa at $126 billion in May 2021. Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos are a bit closer. Bezos is currently the wealthiest person in the world with a net worth of $187 billion. At the same time, Musk has $158 billion under his belt. Thus, today's richest people don't even have a fraction of what Musa had all those centuries ago as an emperor. Musa was regarded as the wealthiest person in history due to this. To this day, the precise amount of his fortune is still a mystery to many. Ultimately, historians find Mansa Musa's legacy rich, not only because of how much money he had, but also because of how he spent it. He was obviously happy to share his wealth, regardless of how unusual it may have been. Now you know Mansa Musa, the richest man ever, and how he spent his fortune. What do you think of his spending spree? How would you spend those billions of dollars if you were the richest man ever? Comment below and let us know what you think. For more infotainment, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. That's it for now. Thanks for watching the video and see you next time.